Hello, and welcome to Boot Camp Unit 13B, Simplifying Rational Exponents and Radicals. When we think of rational exponents, the word ration should bring to mind a fraction. It's a certain piece, a certain part of a whole. When we're looking at rational exponents, you see here 8 to the 2/3. Think of rational exponents like skyscrapers. You go to Buffalo, you go to New York City, and you see the Empire State Building. You think, whoa, look at how tall that building is. The first thing you think of, the actual power of the building, is in its height, what's above ground. Anything you see above that fraction line is a power. What's down below the building are its roots. So anything you see in the denominator of your fraction is a root. So we can look at these exponents one of two ways. Using this as an example, we can look at this as the cube root, because of the 3, of 8 squared, or we can square 8 and then take the cube root after the fact. One of these is usually substantially easier than the other. In this case, it's the top one. The cube root of 8 is 2, squared is, the cube root of 8 is 2, squared is 4. On the bottom, we're going to have to figure out, okay, 8 squared is 64. What's the cube root of 64? And if you don't know that's 4, that can be kind of hard to find. It won't always be the way where the root is the way to go, but there typically is one of the two ways that is a lot easier than the other. So this kind of brings us to radicals, because radicals are 1/2's powers. And we'll have radicals of things like square root of 45. Well, can we break down 45 at all? Indeed we can. 45 gets broken down into the square root of 9 and the square root of 5, as 9 times 5 is 45. Ooh, radical 9 we can do. We can actually simplify that down rather easily. The square root of 9 is 3. 5, on the other hand, we really don't have anything really nice to kind of bring that down. So it stays square root of 5. On the right, you see an exponent, radical for example. I can break this down as square root of x squared and radical x. Now square root of x squared, what times itself is x squared? In case you have a bigger power under there, like x to the 16, it's always half. So in this case, it is x to the 1st. And we really can't divide that power of 1 on the of square root of x evenly, so it stays along for the ride. It is worth noting that you can put these together. If you had to find the square root of 45x cubed, what you would note is that the things outside the houses, or the radicals, stay together, and the things inside stay together. If you had to find the square root of 45x cubed, it would be 3x radical 5x. With that being said, that is an introduction to simplifying rational exponents and looking at radicals.